When most people hear the word lust, they immediately think of sexual sin. But lust runs deeper. It's any craving that pulls our hearts away from God's purpose. In Genesis 3:6, Eve didn't just desire fruit, she longed for wisdom outside of God's will. That's the nature of lust. It blinds us, disguises itself as something good, and leads us to chase fulfillment in places that can never satisfy. It's not just about physical desire. It's about misplaced longing. And when desire replaces trust in God, we risk losing the peace we were created for. Lust isn't just about sex. It shows up in many forms, some we don't even recognize. Today we'll uncover 6 hidden types of lust that quietly pull us away from God, so we can learn to guard our hearts and live in true freedom. First one, lust for pleasure. Let's talk about the lust for pleasure. Many people today live for the next thrill, whether it's partying, binging, or chasing highs that never last. And while pleasure isn't evil, Proverbs 21:17 warns that those who love pleasure will become poor. Why? Because when pleasure becomes the master of your heart, it starts to shape your choices, your time, your purpose. You stop living for God and start living for the next feeling. But here's the truth. Temporary thrills can never replace eternal peace. Real joy isn't found in indulgence. It's found in surrender to Christ. Lust for power. Some people don't just want to lead, they want to control. They need to be right, to win, to stay on top. But Jesus turns that thinking upside down. In Mark 10:43-44, he said, "Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant." True power in God's kingdom isn't about position. It's about humility. It's about lifting others up, not pushing them down. The lust for power hides behind ambition and pride. But Christ calls us to a better way, to serve. Because in God's eyes, the greatest leader is the one willing to go lowest. 3. Lust for wealth. Money isn't evil, but the love of money, that's where the danger begins. When wealth becomes our obsession, it starts to cost us more than dollars. It can cost our integrity, our family, even our faith. 1 Timothy 6:9 warns, "Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap." Because greed whispers, "Just a little more," but it never satisfies. We weren't created to chase wealth. We were created to glorify God. And when money becomes the master of our heart, there's no room left for the peace only Christ can give. 4. Lust for recognition. We all want to be seen, to feel valued. But when we begin craving praise more than God's approval, we step onto dangerous ground. Today's culture, especially through social media, feeds this hunger. We start measuring our worth by likes, followers, applause. But John 12:43 says, "They loved human praise more than the praise of God." And when that happens, we lose sight of what really matters. Friend, you weren't made to impress the world. You were made to reflect Christ. Recognition fades, but righteousness, that lasts forever. 5. Lust for knowledge. The desire to learn is a gift from God, but when we chase knowledge just to feel superior, or rely solely on human wisdom apart from God, we've missed the point. 1 Corinthians 8:1 warns, "Knowledge puffs up, but love builds up." Information without humility leads to pride, and pride builds walls where grace should build bridges. True wisdom isn't about how much you know. It's about knowing the one who made all things. So ask yourself, are you learning to grow closer to Christ, or just to elevate yourself? Because real understanding always begins with reverence for God. 6. Lust for physical desires. This is the form of lust we often talk about, sexual temptation. Whether it's impure thoughts, pornography, or unhealthy relationships, it clouds our spirit and damages our connection with God. 1 Thessalonians 4 verses 3 through 5 says, "It is God's will that you should be sanctified, that you should avoid sexual immorality." God's boundaries aren't there to punish, they're there to protect. Lust promises pleasure, but it leaves behind shame, emptiness, and broken trust. Friend, you weren't made to be ruled by desire. You were made to walk in holiness. And where there is surrender, God brings healing. Lust is subtle. It doesn't always show up how we expect. It hides in ambition, in craving attention, in the quiet places of the heart. But here's the good news. God doesn't just reveal the struggle, He offers a way out. James 4:7 says, "Submit yourselves then to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." It starts with honesty, naming the desire and surrendering it to Jesus. So today, ask Him, "Lord, what am I holding on to that's holding me back from you?" And if this message spoke to you, subscribe to Bible Wisdom for Life and keep walking with us on this journey of truth and freedom.